So this episode of Drink with Friends, we're talking turkey. Wild turkey. So forewarning, this is like the second episode we ever recorded. It's just been sitting on the back burner for weeks, and we just keep coming up with new episodes to push out. And this one kind of kept getting passed over. So we finally chopped it all up. And what we have is we're going to have a two-part episode. It's going to be titled Rustled Feathers. We're going to be talking wild turkey. So we're going to be diving into a lineup of wild turkey. So we tasted Wild Turkey 101. We tasted the 8-year version of that, the 12-year version of that. We also got into some Russell's Reserve. So pull up a chair, dive into this episode. We're going to start rustling some feathers. This is Drink with Friends, and today we're going to be getting into some wild turkey tasting. I feel like I got to, hang on, switch up my cap for this one. All right.
I didn't know they made hats that big.
They do make hats this big. I'm Wayne. Today I'm joined by Pete.
What's up?
We got Jack.
Hey.
And we got Kevin.
Hello.
You guys switch sides of the table. So today we're going to dive into some wild turkey. Real quick before we dive into some wild turkey, we want to shout out Penelope Spirits. We got a mystery box here, and we're going to have to do this on a future episode and talk about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in. We got Wild Turkey 101. Look, we've all had this one. It's one of my favorite, just like budget buy every days. But
$25.99.
25.
Not 25.
Well, not 25. Well, it depends on where you live, because sometimes people are saying it's $19 at their Walmart in the South, which is I'm super jealous of.
Yeah, or if they're in Canada, it's
Or
$58, not dollars.
Yeah,
Rocks.
loonies and
Wampum?
beaver pelts, beaver pelts and maple syrup gallons. Okay, so we're gonna taste some, just so you can kind of taste the difference. It's the same bottle. This is just aged 8 years, and then we have the 12-year, and then all the way at the end we got the Russell's 13, which is a very special treat. So we're gonna dive in and get into all these. So bottle pop, ready?
Ooh.
Tight. Good. Like a tiger.
Eddie and Jimmy, they know what they're doing. All right, so we're gonna open that up. We're gonna pour these.
Start with the 13.
No. We're just gonna introduce some
Can't end with the 101.
some air into that. So this is your 13.
Just want to smell it quick.
Yeah. Get a little fresh sniff.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Cherry cola.
Oh,
Yep.
man. Oh,
Wow, yeah.
Cherry
Right?
bomb.
All day.
Cherry cola, you said?
Cherry cola.
Yeah.
Any wild turkey to me,
yeah.
but especially like the Russells, is like
Sometimes when you point out a flavor note, it's hard to get past that.
right. and then you
Yeah,
get-
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all
hung
you
up on it.
smell now.
Yeah. But yeah, cherry cola or Dr. Pepper is
That's good.
That's gonna be a good
Oh,
one.
my God.
So we've had some people send us some free stuff up here, just so you. Also, we'll probably have to dive into this. I got some handshakes at Kirkland single barrel, Kirkland full proof.
Nice.
Yeah,
They make a full.
they make a
I
full
said the
proof.
same thing.
Whoa.
They make a
And-
single barrel?
Yeah, we got to get some. If you live out of state and you can hook us up with getting a full bottle of that, please
Yes.
contact us. Let us know. We will obviously pay for
Yes.
things, but we definitely want that.
We need a full lineup of the
All right,
Kirkland.
so inside the Penelope box. Speaking of handshakes, here we go. We got looks like we have the full lineup, or some kind of full lineup. We got the Penelope Toasted. Yeah.
Excited for that one. I actually haven't tried the toasted yet.
I have not had the Toasted yet either. Shout out Michael, CEO of Penelope. Made sure we got this little sample. Thank you for taking such a leap on us.
Yeah.
We're only a couple episodes in, but we're going to do
Well, they got
full-
mini labels on them?
Yeah, look
Yeah,
at this.
these are
This is great.
legit.
So barrel strength, I have a bottle of that at home. I have a barrel strength. I've never tried
Architect
the
is legit. I have a bottle.
That's
By-
15. Straight bourbon.
Yeah, the Architect. So
I never tried this. The toasted?
That's what I just said. I've never tried the toasted.
This is probably going to
I haven't tried Toasted.
Interesting.
I
Yeah,
have
like
barrel
that.
strength, and I crushed a bottle of Architect.
Architect
is
delicious.
legit.
It's so good. Yeah, so we're gonna have to dive into those.
Where are they based? New Jersey?
New Jersey.
New
yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey.
So locals,
Yeah.
sort of. We're
They're
here.
actually very close.
Yeah.
They're right
It's
outside.
like right over
right over the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be. We're gonna have to dive into that on a episode. Do a full Penelope lineup.
Rosé, Valencia.
The Rosé, the
Yes.
Valencia, those are awesome bottles. The Architect is so good. Haven't had the Toasted. Yeah, the Tokai cask. I'm like,
I haven't tried that one yet.
I haven't seen it.
I saw it in a locked case.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's attainable.
yes.
We're going to dive in. We're going to taste Wild Turkey 101. This is, look,
Don't mix this up, big guy.
keep that over there. It's my 13.
In the corner it goes.
We need like a cool little,
Caddy
yeah.
with like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody, if you're a custom fabricator and you're watching this and you want to make us one, we'd love to take
Or
that.
if you'd like have an Amazon link or something.
If you already make something like that and you want to send it to us and have us review it on the podcast, we'd be down to try. All right. Wild Turkey 101. To me, this is just a really good, like, if you're talking like everyday drinker.
Fresh.
Yeah, it's young. It's probably, I don't know the age statement off the top of my head. If I had to guess, probably 3 to 4 years. So Wild Turkey, they got a pretty cool story. I did not know that the founders originated out of New York. Did you know that?
Did not.
Pretty cool.
like 'em, but-
Back in like the 1800s, Irish settlers, family that they went on a turkey hunting trip, and that's how the name came about back in like way before Prohibition started, which is pretty cool. All right, so this is going to be your 8. All right, so Kevin, you were saying that the jump up from the 101 to the 8 is significant.
I think it's pretty significant. I've had all these bottles except the Russell's 13, so that's going to be
A new one.
a new one for, I think, all of us. Have you guys?
I have not had the 13.
Yeah.
No.
So for all of us, that's going to be a brand new one.
I have the 10. I have the single barrel. You just got the single barrel store pick from
Yeah.
Bansom.
Yep.
I got to go swing by and pick one up.
What are we doing first?
All right, so 101. Let's dive in. So when we rank bourbons on the show, we're going to judge by nose, taste, finish, and then we throw in extra bonus points for bottle pop. We're going to add up all the scores at the end for each one, and we're going to give the individual scoring.
I might have messed up. I forgot which one was which.
Oh, no.
I think, all right.
Hopefully you could taste
That's it.
and tell.
Well, the 13 is
Well,
Well, no, it's 8 and 1. Well, 13 I know where.
this is
All
what.
right.
All right, I'm going to make a decision. We're going to put blue tape down, and we're going to write on them for the
the future.
future.
Or a piece of
All
paper
right, so,
that you put
or
it
like
in.
we could have wrote it on the piece of paper. Oh, look.
Idiots.
Aha.
Oh,
Look at this. Look what I just did.
bunch of
I'm a
geniuses
genius.
on the paper.
On the paper.
What if I move the paper?
Well, just make sure you put it where you want it to go. All right, so Wild Turkey 101. It's usually, look, it's if you, depending on where you live in the United States, it's probably about $25 a bottle on average. Nose to me, it's classic. It's got honey. It's sweet.
It smells like your grandpa's like cherry hard candies. That's what it smells like.
Stop
Yeah.
smelling my grandpa's candies.
Can't make me stop.
Can't make me stop. Yeah, it's just like
It's good.
it's a just everyday
nuttiness.
drinker. Yeah, a little nutty on the finish. We are adding decimal points. That was a
Yeah.
failure, but it may help us in the long run because those fractional points may
The
leaderboard. Yeah, the hundredths of a second on our hot laps. Yeah, nose. What do you got,
I got an 8 on the nose.
Jack?
I'm between like a 6, 5, so around there. I don't think it's anything
Crazy.
outstanding.
Yeah.
But got a little gingerbread.
Ooh. Picking out some flavors there. All right. What about you, Kev? What do you
I
got?
got 6.5 actually. The same exact
6.5.
thing. The same
All
exact
right.
thing. Some of the things we've tried beforehand, it's a little hard to compare them.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good nose. I'm not gonna say it's not a good nose.
Yeah, I think the nose is better than the taste.
I
if that-
agree.
if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
at least on my end, and the nose gives me like the nostalgia. Like I said, like almost like my like growing up. It just
Yeah.
reminds you, brings you right
Smells
back.
like grandpa's turkey.
You know what it is? That nose for me, it smells like a quintessential bourbon. Like,
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
smells
Yeah.
like what a
It's-
bourbon should smell
Yes.
like. Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about Wild Turkey. Nose, I'm going 7.8, just to
Okay.
be difficult.
Nice. Who's doing the math, Jack?
So
Absolutely not.
what we did, we
Quick math.
we had to do it afterwards. Like I forgot in episode 1 where I was like, oh yeah, we'll flash it up on the screen. I'm like, oh, we have to
gotta-
do that.
we gotta
So
do all of that.
we're just gonna cut in a bumper. All right, so taste. What do you got on taste, Pete?
I got like a 6.5.
Okay, Jack.
It's kind of right down the middle
Yeah.
so far
Yeah.
for everything.
Okay.
But like you said, it's kind of like your quintessential bourbon.
yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. What about you, Kev? Where are you
I
at?
said 6.7 just
Okay.
because, the nose is good. The taste is good. For me, where it lacked was on the finish. But
It's kind of fallen off.
yeah, and I get a little bitterness at the end that I'm not too fond of.
Okay.
But
So I've heard a thing that there's a lot of people talk about Wild Turkey. They say there is a funk to Wild Turkey.
maybe
That might be what it is.
I don't like feet.
A taste. I did 7.5. I love the flavor of this. I think it's bourbon that tastes like bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finish. What
I
you
got
got?
a 6 even.
6 even. We got Jack.
I gave it a 5 on the finish because especially once you said that funk at the end, it falls off and then
There's like
you
a
get
little
this,
earthy,
yeah.
a little like mushroomy, almost
Yeah.
like mildewy,
Old wood.
Yeah.
cardboard.
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes.
I didn't know what it was.
Mildew.
The best way I could describe it was a little bit of bitter, but there was definitely
Yeah.
something else there.
Like
Maybe
funky basement.
yes.
Like you ever go to like a damp basement?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you make
black
it broke?
mold.
Yeah, a little bit of black mold
like
in the
my-
corner. Yeah.
Like my living room.
Oh, that's a problem.
That's a whole nother side story. But
So where'd you go on finish? What was your
I
score?
went with a 5.
5. Okay.
And even then, I don't think a 5 is technically bad.
No.
I think
No,
it's like it's a good bourbon.
Middle of the road.
Middle of the road, good bourbon. If you pour this for me, I wouldn't be upset.
Right.
So it's good.
Yeah, if you have somebody over the house, I talk about this one as a great introductory bourbon. A lot of people dog on, like they'll say, "Oh, it's too high proof for somebody." Like, I don't think it drinks hot. I think it's a
No,
really
no,
good.
not at all.
It's got some spice to it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, it's not a really, I think it's a great bourbon to start people off with.
I love this one in
I
an
gave
old
it-
fashioned
Yeah.
because of just the cherry notes.
Yeah, you get the cherry, and then you throw in some bitters and a little orange peel, and you're
You're
good.
good to go.
Finish. I'm going 7 because I'm just a turkey fanboy, so whatever.
I think you got one of those hats.
Yeah. So I found this at the thrift vintage store or antique market. I don't know. Found a bunch of Wild Turkey
Dumpster.
stuff. It was not a dumpster. It was a store.
All right.
All right. Bottle pop. We obviously don't have one here. It's a fresh pop. It's the Wild Turkey bottles usually sound pretty good. I just can't.
It's a real cork, so that's a plus.
It's a real cork.
It's not rubber or any
Yes.
sort of bullshit.
So you're gonna get that classic like
Chef's kiss.
the wet pop. Yeah. All right. So that's Wild Turkey 101. Look, it's a $25 bottle on average most places, and I think it's a great introductory bourbon. If you're just starting out and you want to try some different bourbons, it's a good bottle to get. You're not going to overspend, and you're not going to feel like you got ripped off if you don't really like it. I'm sure you can find somebody to give that bottle to or trade that bottle to for somebody. If for some reason you're like, oh, I don't like this, you could trade that for a bottle of Buffalo Trace or whatever.
I think it's
Makers
a
or
really
somebody.
good.
Yeah,
It's a good
it's
introduction
solid.
bourbon.
It's a
Like,
great introduction.
yeah, if you're going into the store and you don't know if you don't even like bourbon, like I
Yeah.
feel like this is a great way to start it out.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Or you know what? If you buy a bottle and you're like, oh, I don't really like this, use that as your mixer when you have guests over.
Yeah.
Throw it in some Sprite and make little bourbon sodas or make old fashions with it in Manhattans. Like that's a great bourbon that you could put into a cocktail. You're not going to feel like you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I spent that much money on a bottle and I threw it into a cocktail. So that's our wrap up on Wild Turkey 101. All right, so now we're gonna dive into Wild Turkey 8. Can't get this in the US, right?
No, this is Japan exclusive. We pulled down the box. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything written on there that says.
I don't read
Wild
Japanese.
Turkey.
I like the box.
Box is
I like
awesome.
boxes.
Yeah,
Boxes
box
in
is
general.
nice.
I like presentation.
Yeah.
Remarkable 8-year-old Kentucky bourbon is one that has been expertly crafted by a legendary father and son master distiller team of Jimmy and Eddie Russsell. Kentucky
guys.
limestone water, blah, blah, blah. Finest malted corn and rye and barley, aged 8 years. Number 4 char on the oak barrels, giving it a richer, deeper, bolder taste. It does have tasting notes on it.
Okay.
It has a pretty unique nose.
Yeah, I'm going to go in. I've not sniffed my glass
Is this
yet.
charred?
Yeah, I'm sure it's,
I'm sure this is the exact same as a regular 101. It's just
They leave it
for 8 years.
Yeah, leave it for 8
Yeah.
years, and the Russells, pretty
Yeah.
cool father-son team. They're both master distillers.
They're doing it.
Yeah. In 2018, Jimmy and Eddie both combined for 101 years of distilling history. Did they release like a legendary 101
I think they
in
might have.
2018. Like that should have been something.
There's definitely something they released.
I don't know if they're on the up and up with the old marketing
Well,
department.
in 2015, they brought on McConaughey.
Yeah.
So McConaughey, if you're, yeah,
Long Branch.
Long Branch,
Long
yeah.
Branch.
That's the charcoal mellowed, right?
yeah, but and like there's mesquite in there, no?
Yeah.
Right?
It's like mesquite briquettes.
I don't know if I like that. All right, so 8-year 101.
I feel like this nose is like this, but like if you took this and reduced it,
Yes.
you
It's
got
not
a
as
little more
potent,
intense.
right?
I think it's get
rich.
intense, more
Yes.
rich.
Yeah.
I get more of
not
that gingerbread he was saying, more of those like baking spices.
It's not as punchy though.
It's
right?
not. It's not hot. It's like
Yeah.
a more mellow nose,
Yeah.
but
I almost feel it's mellower.
I would say
Hotter.
mellow.
Is that, how do you like? It's hotter but mellower. Does that make? Doesn't really make sense. But
I wouldn't say hot. I mean, I think it's more. I think it's,
it's more
mellower.
spicy.
Yes.
More of the
Spicy.
There you go.
the baking spices definitely
Yeah.
come forward more.
yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Good honey.
See, I find it not as sweet.
It's not. Yeah, that one tastes to me like the
little
regular
bit more of the
101
oak.
tastes like
Yeah.
The oak came through a lot more.
And I like that. I like the oak presence.
The candy sweetness is pretty much gone. It's more of a mellowy, oaky honey.
I don't get
an
that.
oaky aftertaste.
I don't get that weird finish.
No.
On this one the other one
Doesn't have the funk,
No.
right?
no funk. Lack of funk. 101 I think is like the perfect proof where it's not too hot.
Yes.
It can go be an everyday pour.
Yeah. It's interesting to see the age difference on the 101 proof. Like the same proof level, but the age completely changed that.
Yeah.
That is totally.
I'm interested to see. So my tasting notes would be baking spices, a little bit of vanilla, maybe like some caramel and toffee. And
Just keep reading off the back. Yeah,
is that what it is?
So complex. The number 4 char American oak barrels gives it a richer, deeper, bolder taste. Like literally everything
Yeah.
we just said. Complex notes of vanilla, caramel, oak, and spice combine to create a uniquely satisfying whiskey experience.
Yeah.
This is how bourbon is meant to be: bold, genuine, with no compromises. Drink responsibly.
I love
Thanks, turkey guys.
not looking at the tasting notes or even looking at the tasting notes and then trying to see if it's all cap or not.
Yeah, there's a
Because
lot of
sometimes
that.
there's a stretch. Like they'll say like it tastes like orange. I'm like, where is there orange?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, we're in the world of coffee, and tasting notes are super suggestive. Like it's, we play with it.
There's
There's a line, right?
There was a fine line between like using descriptive words and then also just embellishing
Correct.
stuff. To me, like when I cup my coffees, like so with coffee roasting, you're buying your green coffee and you're using cupping notes. This was somebody who tasted it in the field and then brought it into the country. And then you're going to roast that coffee and then you can completely change the flavor profile based on how you roast it. Look, I've been a coffee roaster since 2017 professionally. Coffee, it tastes like coffee. There's always going to be like, it's the same thing. It's bourbon.
The
It's
subtle
going to taste
change-
like
yeah, but
bourbon.
the subtle
but
changes-
the subtle nuances are
Yes,
like,
and that's where we
you
get
can
into
play.
the weeds with it.
Yeah, and then the finishing and like all that plays into it's the same thing. You're taking a flavor
and
profile.
here's the thing, and we know it in our business, but they're not changing the tasting notes on this
Just a little.
every bottle.
I want
Right.
to do a back to back and just like to see what
Yeah.
if there is a
You know what I mean? Like so, like
noticeable
those tasting
difference.
notes in that bottle are the tasting notes that they put on.
Yeah.
How many batches ago?
Right.
There's changes in everything.
Yes. And year to year, different batch to batch,
Is
barrels
there-
to barrels.
And
like,
is this Jimmy and Eddie Russell's palate? Because I don't think I have the same palate as
right.
those guys.
Yeah. Like whoever wrote this, like, is this their marketing company writing these tasting notes, or is this actually like the master distiller's tasting?
Well, we come in
notes?
on coffee and go red fruit, and then we refine it on a packaging to
Right.
say
So-
raspberry or whatever.
Yes.
Something
If, like-
more relatable
Yeah,
to
a
Yes.
more like
general.
If I say like
Stone
it's stone
fruit,
fruit, people are
it's-
like, "What's stone fruit?"
yeah.
Well, if you
What
say
is a stone fruit?
like cherries,
Cherries.
that have a
Stone-
hard pit,
Yeah.
it's a
So a
that's-
stone. I've heard a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
And watched a lot of reviews, and I hear stone fruit. and
yeah.
Because it's a catch-all.
It's a term that they use a lot in wine tasting. So like wine tasting. If you watch any wine taster, that like I used to work with a master sommelier, and he like I would just throw in random words, and he'd be like, "Yeah," I'd be like, "I'm getting a little like Parliament cigarette," and he'd be like, "Yeah, there's definitely a tobacco note coming through in there," and I'm like, "A little shoe leather." He's like, "Yeah, leather."
But this is back to what Jack said. Like sometimes you're influenced by somebody's thought.
Somebody says,
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper,
And then
cherry cola.
You
and
can't
you're
get past that.
That's what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy who reviews ice or not doesn't review ice cream, but he was like a master taster for like an ice cream company. He has a gold spoon and he whip smacks. Yeah, that guy. You know the guy? You've seen the video? Yeah.
Knows I'm going 8.2. We're gonna go reverse order this time. We'll switch it up with Uno reverse. Kevin, what do you got on nose?
I'm gonna go I'm gonna make this easy.
Yeah.
You don't have to come back to me. Nose taste finish, 7.5.
7.5, straight up.
Down the middle. You know what?
Okay.
Yes, 7.5.
Okay. All right. What do you got, Jeff?
Yeah, so straight down, I'm at a 7.
Okay.
It's better than the just straight up 1 and 1.
I screwed myself because I'm going against the first one.
You scored it too high in the first one.
So I'm doing 7 3/4 for the nose and then 7.5 down the line.
7 3/4.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like.
I had to go like to me. It's not
I'm gonna scratch the decimal points. I'm just gonna go straight 8s.
Okay.
For my nose taste and finish. I
think it's good.
That's
I
a
think,
good.
it's good. I
Great.
think it just loses the candy sweetness in this one.
I am a
versus
little
the
upset that you can't get this in the United States.
Yes,
Why-
I was gonna
Why is it
ask about
export
that.
only?
on the shelf. Which one are you picking up if they're the same price?
If they were the same price,
Yeah.
I'd go 8.
8.
Just
All day.
Right?
All day.
All day.
You know, it just adds a little layer of complexity. So like when you're just getting into bourbon, you know, I would get both because you know,
All right.
Right.
just to see
Side by
if
side.
If you're going into bourbon or you're going into some whiskey, being able to identify those subtle differences is actually makes you feel pretty good. So I think comparing these two side by side, you can actually
It's the same
Noticeably.
juice, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a little older.
It's the side by side of
Yeah.
literally like it's the same juice. This just is aged maybe 3 to 4 years and then dumped and bottled, and this is 8 years dumped and bottled.
Yeah.
I'm a big firm believer of the person who's deciding like how long to age, like the master distiller, the master of maturation, can completely change a whiskey.
You had an idea to throw in the Russell's 10 so we could do the 10 and the 13 side by
We're
side.
doing
correct?
turkey night.
I saw somebody on TikTok made a really cool comment, and I tried it, and it's delicious. I need a 12 pour.
What is this one?
If you mix Wild Turkey Rare Breed, which
That would be for.
here's another one. We're not going to taste this one on this episode, but Wild Turkey Rare Breed, if you want to try some barrel proof, awesome whiskey, this is the absolute shiznit. I love this stuff. But if you mix this 50-50 with Russell's 10, it's just like a way of having a different blend of like some Wild Turkey, offerings. And it's delicious.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Play around with your whiskey.
Play around with your whiskey. Make a, like if you have a couple bottles, like you can make an infinity bottle, or if you want to put a decanter out and have a couple different, put some different blends of similar proofs, or like one proof that 101, one proof that 116. The Russell's is at 90 proof. So Russell's 10 is at 90 proof. Usually goes for around $45, $50 a bottle. It's a 10-year age statement that I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
It could go toe to toe with Eagle Rare in my opinion.
I think it kills Eagle Rare, personally.
And then mixing that with the barrel proof. So the barrel proof is 116. This is at 90, and then you kind of you find this sweet spot in the middle. It's just a cool way to try the same whiskey, but a little bit different. All right, so Russell's 10, yeah. So Jimmy and Eddie Russell, they've been working at Wild Turkey since literally Jimmy Russell joined Wild Turkey in 1954.
God bless.
1967, he becomes the master distiller. And then 1981, his son, Eddie, starts working there as a general helper, which is pretty cool. And then,
Now he runs everything.
yeah, and now the two of them run everything. Yeah. And, they both are master distillers. That's got to be a pretty cool feeling to be working with your dad and, kind of taking on the craft. And, it's pretty cool.
I'm interested to see, because everyone says some of these dusty turkeys, the dusty Austin Nichols turkeys, are some of the best bourbon products that there are out there.
Up until 1997, they were using cypress stills, cypress wood,
Which is
I'm sorry, fermentation tanks. They were fermentation tanks. They were using cypress wood, and then they switched over to steel in 1997. So like
Cypress is a funky wood.
those pre-1997s are probably some like really like got some funk, and that could be like when people say like, oh, Wild Turkey's got that funk to it. Those old Austin Nichols Wild Turkeys. I would love to get a bottle.
We're gonna get one. We'll find one.
We'll find one.
If it's out there, we'll find it.
I would like a 1983 Wild Turkey. That's my birth year, so that would be pretty cool. All right, yeah. So we're gonna dive in. We're gonna score this. This is Russell's 10.
I prefer this nose to the 101 nose.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
a little sweeter, a little
Definitely.
This is
little
like a
sweeter.
ginger ale.
little ginger.
Very cherry though.
It's cherry. There's something about.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Wild Turkey. It's the cherry cola.
That's good.
Okay.
That's great.
I don't get that weird
There's no
Funky
funk.
finish.
Yeah.
that I got on the regular 101. And this is lower proof.
Yeah, this is 90 proof. So like those single barrel store picks are sick.
Yeah.
It's like a cherry reduction.
Heavy cherry on the finish.
It's like cherry, like those cordials, the cherry chocolate cordials.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
those, yes.
That's what it reminds
It's
me
like they
of.
got that cherry juice wrapped in the chocolate.
Yep.
Yeah, so good. Where are we scoring this one, Pete? What do you got?
I'm going 8 down the board.
8
Yeah.
across the board?
Yeah.
I'm
I
with
did
that.
7.5 down the board. I think this is as good as the Wild Turkey 101 8. I think
I
they're a
think
little bit different.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the price, I mean,
I think they're different, but
But like you can walk into any store.
Anywhere.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
This is
so
unattainable.
Like, so like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, if I think, depending on the mood, I can go either or because I think they're different. But I think they're equal on their score. But
Okay.
this is a lot more obtainable than this is.
Yes.
So,
you just walk into any store, it's sitting on a
so
shelf.
I would give the W to this one.
Yeah, this export only is on the 8.
Yeah.
I like the. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think I like the 8 a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
It's really good. I don't get me wrong. I'm gonna nose taste finished. I'm going like 8, 7.5, 7.5, just to be
Difficult.
difficult.
If I blinded these two, the Wild Turkey 8 and the Russell's 10, I don't know which one I would pick. I think it would have to depend
Yeah.
on the mood because I think they're different but similar in the same way.
Yeah, I don't want
makes
to be
sense.
like a proof
No.
No,
princess.
I'm not proof princess at all because
Can we
some of
coin that
there's-
term?
I don't know if that's a term, but like
No, I understand what you're saying,
like,
though.
yes.
You
No, but
you don't want to think it's bad.
The newest trend is higher the proof, the better it is.
yeah,
But-
yeah, it's not always the case.
No.
Yeah.
It's not always the case.
I can't.
This is like a
Full proof.
Tuesday night, easygoing drinker, no issue the next morning
Yeah,
type of
so you
situation.
come home from work, you want just a really good glass of whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, and like the price point, you can't beat
Yeah.
it. It's literally like, like Wild Turkey 101, Russell's 10. You're drinking a 10-year age bourbon for under $50. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's a pretty awesome.
I would be interested to see this between this and Eagle Rare. I've never done a side by side.
That would be a good one.
Yeah,
I think the
there's
Eagle
something
Rare is
about
going to
proof.
Eagle
I
Rare?
think
Eh,
Eagle Rare is 50%.
I think Eagle.
No.
I think Eagle
We have
Rare is
one?
very
not here.
not here.
I think we all have a bottle at home. Maybe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good stuff. I have
It's
a
good.
single-
That'd be a
single
good
barrel
one.
pick.
Do it.
But I feel like Eagle Rare doesn't have the fruit notes. I feel
I
like
think it does. I think Buffalo Trace for me. I always get cherry.
I get like.
Always cherry. That's
See,
the
I think
big-
that's the turkey. Turkey's cherry to me.
Yeah, I don't know. The Eagle Rare, I think, is just like if you want like a bourbon that drinks like caramel, that's that one.
Yeah.
Eagle Rare, it's
It's
really
that
good.
quintessential bourbon. It's just the sweetness.
I love the Eagle Rare.
I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I'm just saying.
I think it's.
Not saying there's anything
I think
wrong
it's
with it.
depending on the mood, depending on the night.
Yeah.
Depends on which one you go
Flip
for.
a
They're
coin.
both great.
Yeah,
Both great.
That'd be a fun one to do in a blind.
I
So
think the blinds are once we do blinds, start doing
Like
blinds. I think
10-year
you'll
blinds?
Start
do by
realizing.
Battle of the 10 years.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, so as our tastings usually go, we get a little carried away and we kind of open up way too many bottles. So this is going to be a 2-part episode. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe, comment, do all that stuff down below, and stay tuned for the shocking conclusion of, well, it's not really shocking. It's just the conclusion of this episode that we've kind of just had on the back burner for forever. That'll be up next week on all your Apple Podcasts, Spotify with video, YouTube, and all that stuff.